Okay, so we're recording and you just told me that that's okay. So what I'll do is this will be really informal. I don't know if you saw the note I sent you this morning.
I did.
Yeah. So just to kind of help you gather thoughts, we'll keep it general. And I'll just gonna use bits and pieces and some testimonial stuff. All right.
Okay.
Just so quickly, you want to tell me, who you are and how we hooked up.
My name is Madelyn Blum. I met you through my dad, but you were able to give me some very helpful information about going through to a car dealership and how to negotiate and things like that.
So we on our first call, we talked about quite a bit of different process on how to
Yeah,
handle the call. Uh, did you find that easy or hard to follow?
I definitely had to take some notes, but it was easy. Once I went to the dealership, I kept everything that you said in the back of my mind. And it definitely helped because I could tell that they were kind of pushing for the trade-in and to go ahead and bring that into the picture. And I remember you saying, keep that on the back burner. Don't even throw that in until you're ready. So my number one priority going in was getting the out the door price. So I remember that that was our top goal with going in there. So I was able to keep that as the priority.
So that was helpful then to just know the different steps.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very hard thing for people to kind of stick to because the dealer's good at pushing to control the process.
Yes, they are.
So do you feel that's kind of knowing, keeping those four steps in line and sticking to them definitely made a difference?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, and you did great with that. That's a tough thing for people to do, especially that's as intimidating that they can get sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so let's see what I, yeah. Could give it, you already gave an example. So you said they were pushing for the trade right
Yeah.
away,
When we were looking at the new Jeep,
right?
they kept asking, well, where's your Jeep parked? We'll have somebody go look at it while we're looking at this one, and we can discuss prices and we could just give you an offer. And I kept telling them, I'm not interested in a trade in right now. I have somebody looking at the Jeep. I'm just interested in getting the information on this new one that I'm looking at right now. So
So let's talk about the new one. So we had an initial phone call where we were both at computers, and you had already picked out the vehicle you wanted. So we were looking at that specific vehicle on the dealer's website. And tell me about, how did they have it priced? Do you remember what the MSRP was? And then
57 was the MSRP.
what did they have it marked down? They had some discounts and things on it, right?
Yeah, they had it down to like 51 or 52, but then they had addendums on it. And I had messaged because on the website I was able to like put in my phone number and email and they reached out to me to like schedule an appointment. Well, I had been in contact with the manager, the sales manager, and asked over the phone, was like, hey, it's kind of difficult for me to get there right now. Are there any addendums that I to just have an idea of before I come in? And he just said, we'll just see you when you come in for your appointment. So when we got there, it was about 2 grand worth of things added on that were, of course, adding up the price because we were trying to figure out because on the website it was listed as 47.
Right. That's what I remember, that it was like 47.2 or 47.5 or
Yeah.
something. And one of the things, if you remember, we spoke about, we were trying to see, we couldn't see an addendum in the pictures on any of the windows, but we noticed that there was a trailer hitch.
Yep.
And then we looked at the window sticker and there was no factory trailer hitch on the window sticker. So we knew they had added equipment.
Yeah.
You found that to be true when you got there?
Yeah. They added a tow package to it.
Yeah. What else did they add?
That tinted windows, the aftermarket mud tires that are currently on it were added because I guess it was all terrain previously.
Okay.
Trying to think. There were a couple other things, but I can't remember off the top of my head what the other ones are.
So what were you able to, what was your actual, the out the door price that you eventually got them down to? What you, not the trade or your payment, what did you actually purchase the vehicle for, the selling amount?
46.
46. Wow. That's awesome. So that we'll come back to how you got to that a little bit later. So once you agreed to that, is that when you said, well, go ahead, give me a price on my trade?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the first? Now, we also spoke about that, and I know you had a range of numbers from some
Yeah.
homework you did. Somebody told you 27 to 29 you could get for the trade. We looked on some of the shopping sites and found that the dealers were selling with lower miles for 46. So we knew you weren't going to get, I mean, 26. We knew you weren't going to get 27, 29.
Yeah.
He came up with a number that's somewhere in the 21.5 to 23 range.
Hmm.
And then you went to Carfax, right? And they gave you a range.
So I actually did Carvana online,
Okay.
and they told me just from the information I entered, 22.4.
Okay.
So that was, I knew it would be lower because my tires were almost bald. Definitely need new tires.
Right.
Um, the brake pads were worn down. So I mean, and I've had that Jeep for 5 years. So it definitely, and having two dogs, it had some, the interior looked great. It just was covered in dog hair.
Well,
But
yeah, and they see the dealers are good at looking past that because they know they can clean those things up.
but it did have high mileage. I had about 78,000 miles on it.
But
Um, and so I was aiming for like 22. Well, when they came back at,
when we did our homework online, so,
yeah,
so you had a number set that you would have been happy with.
yes.
Okay.
And they came back, they ran the report, and the initial number on the report, if you look at the top, was 22. But then it takes off $1,000 because it was high mileage. And then they took off another $1,000 because it needed five new tires. Um, and so they were offering me like right at 20
Okay.
for it. And I told them, I was like, y'all came down to where I can do the out the door price, but this trade in is just too low. I'm not going to be able to make that work.
And because of it just wouldn't be affordable with that
Mhm.
not having that difference, right?
Yeah. And so he was like, well, I'm taking all the addendums off for you. I took this much off. He's like, my hands, he's like, he's like, I can't come down anymore on the other one. He's like, or else I would. Because he's like, we still have to be able to make a profit. And I'm like, no, I respect that. I get it. I get it. And so I ended up was like, unfortunately, I'm gonna try to see if I'm gonna get more for my trade in because I kept saying that somebody was interested still at that point, and they were like, "Well, how much is this person looking at it for?" So I just threw out 24 as just a higher number.
Is a good retail number if somebody was going to buy from you. So yeah,
So I just kind of threw that out there, just throwing a wide net. And they were like, "We definitely can't beat that." He's like, "If you're gonna have somebody pay 24 for this Jeep, he's like, you sell it." And so
that's one of the first things I told you when we first started talking. What did you have to be ready to do?
walk out.
Walk out. And did you walk out?
I did.
And do you think that worked to your benefit?
I think so.
So
Um, because the sales rep that was working with us, he was definitely doing everything he could. It was the manager that was a little more
does the
standing his
salesman
ground,
help
which
you?
I get it.
He only gets paid if they sell a car.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I think walking out definitely, I was sad, but I was like, you know what? If it'll work out, it'll work out. If not, it's not the end of the world. Um,
What did we tell you would happen after you left?
that they would reach back out.
And did they?
They sure did.
And what did you do when they reached out?
So he reached out texting me, the sales rep, and was like, hey, if sorry, I can't remember what he said, but it was something along the lines of if there's anything that we can help you with or anything else that we can like work with you on with numbers, let me know. So I was like, if you guys can give me 22.5 for my trade in, I will take the 46 whatever out the door price and I will come in and sign the papers today. And about 20 minutes after sending that, he said, talk to the boss, come on in, congrats.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Yeah, it's just so I was so excited to hear that it kind of just went exactly as scripted for you. And you know
Yeah,
what? They wouldn't have done it if it wasn't good for them and it worked out for you. Now, did you use any of the tools that we provide on the bestcardeals.com website?
I did. The auto loan calculator I had pulled up on my phone in the dealership.
Okay, how did that help you?
It helped me really well. When I was in there, when we were like, when at first, when we were just spitballing numbers to get the out the door price, I was using that calculator to see, like, on average, how much, like, where I needed to get my out the door price to make it affordable for me.
So you were using it to figure out what your monthly payment would be. So
Yeah.
they weren't controlling. You didn't give them a number of what the payment should be and let them fill it up to make sure they got you there.
No,
Yeah.
no, I was looking at that for my reference. And then even when I went into the finance office, I had that calculator pulled up when he was throwing out different interest rates. Because that was one of the things I told them. I was like, I will, if you can give me the 46 and you'll take 22.5 for my Jeep, I will even finance through you guys.
And you had a rate through your credit union, I think you told me.
Mhm.
It ended up being pretty close to what the dealer did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, you gave them their little piece there too. That was good. It was good to
Yeah.
have all of that prepared. I'm so proud of you. You did a really great
Thank
job.
you.
Uh, let me see. To use the tools. So the correspondences we had prior to that helped your confidence working with the dealership.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So if you could just kind of give me a quick summary on uh, if you would refer us and recommend us to other people. Do you think our services are worth it for somebody to use?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had never done any kind of negotiating like this before, other than on like job interviews, but with my job, it's a pretty standard rate. And it was like my first time getting hired, so I didn't really have any negotiating ground. So I wasn't super familiar with these skills, um, and advice how to do this. And so it was very nerve-wracking. But following the steps that you gave me and just remembering, like, number one priority, out the door price, don't bring any other factors in yet. Um, and then kind of me leading them instead of them kind of pushing me was very helpful. Um, it was it was hard to get up and walk out because I was like, I don't want to be rude, because I was like, oh, things are not going how I was planning on them to go. But then I had to remind myself, like, it's my money at the end of the day that I'm going to be spending.
Absolutely.
And so having the confidence to like go through all that and walk out, and then hearing how confident you were about they're going to call you back, they're going to reach back out. And sure enough, like 30 minutes after our conversation, I got a text message from them. I was like, oh, perfect timing. Um, so it was definitely advice and tips that I will keep forever.
That's awesome. Did one other thing we didn't ask you about yet. So we talked about some of the things that would happen in the finance office, like gap insurance and maintenance and warranties, and also even down to the doc fee.
Mm-hmm.
Is it helpful to know all that information, what to expect in that office, as opposed to
Yes.
going in there blind and not knowing? Most people go in there and think you're just going to do some paperwork and get the financing done, and
Yeah. So the doc fee actually ended up being a lot more than because I had looked up, because we had talked about the average doc fees.
in North
Doc,
Carolina, it was 699, 799. It was higher.
it was like 950.
Okay.
Um, and so even the finance guy was like, we unfortunately do have one of the higher doc fees.
But it wasn't a surprise.
No, because I knew I was going to have to be, and it was on all of the paperwork prior, because they gave me a printout of like the out the door price and then a copy of like my trade in. And I kept those copies, and it had the doc fee in the bottom with like the taxes and or road tax. So I knew that was coming. Whenever we went through the insurance stuff, the finance guy was actually, he was very nice about it. He was like, I'm not even going to bore you with gap insurance. You don't need it. So he skipped over that. Um, he did talk about the extended warranties that they have and the different plans. Because you have the standard 3 year warranty, and the prices were so there's this other warranty. I was looking at other warranties like that had Mopar warranties for different prices. So I was kind of price comparing what they were offering me at the dealership. And they were also talking about the oil changes, and the price that I would get oil changes was actually cheaper than paying for that package from the dealership. So I just said no to all that, but they weren't pushy about it, which was really nice.
But you again, so that all our conversation helped you prepare for all of that going into the. So you didn't have,
Yes,
you weren't sitting there trying to make spot decisions on something you weren't even aware that was going to happen. Is that a
correct.
fair statement?
Yeah,
All right, this is awesome. Great. I appreciate you taking the time. Is
of
there
course.
anything else you want to summarize or I think we covered it all pretty good.
Yeah, you were awesome. And your website, it was super helpful.
Well, if you can recommend us, that would be really.
Absolutely. I've already talked about you to a couple of my friends who are like talking about getting new cars. Like, go to this website. There's even a calculator on there.
Yeah, I think I've had, over the years I've helped a lot of people that are friends and family, and I've, launched this in February finally, and have had a few clients and given them, they've gone through the courses on their own. It's all self-paced right now, but I think for now I'm actually going to restructure. I might probably going to raise my price from the $300 I'm listed now to closer to 500, but I'm going to restructure and get more personally involved, and almost try and handle it exactly how our interactions went, at least at the beginning.
Yeah,
And then I'll give the courses if somebody, because I have courses that even help you try and figure out what vehicle to buy if you're not sure. But you were there already. You knew exactly what you wanted. What I'll do is I'll give you access to everything so you can look through it and any recommendations you can make. But if
okay.
there's hours and hours and hours worth of courses, I still have some more to complete, but I think those will be nice for people to have and just use the pieces they need.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Well, again, thanks. Enjoy. And if you have any
Thank you.
questions or anything, just always reach out.
Will do. Thank you again so much for all of your help. I really appreciated it.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Take care. Bye bye.
You too. Bye.